Hi. The countdown didn't really lead in very well that time. So welcome back. It's the first video of the month, and I'm going to talk about the kind of winemaking style stuff this month. So the first thing will be we're going to talk about oak for a couple weeks, and then I'm going to finish it up with secondary possible fermentations. It kind of just all leads together, and then bingo, bango, bongo. We'll talk about other stuff later. In case you haven't kind of noticed, and you probably already have, the room looks a little bit different. There's crap everywhere, so there's a reason for that, and that's kind of why this video is being posted when it is schoolwork has been kind of chaotic, so I haven't really gotten around to tidying, but I figured I may as well keep up with one of the commitments I wanted to have, and that's this video channel. So, the 1-minute disclaimer is over. So I'm going to start talking about oak, and specifically varieties of oak. There's different ways that wine can be oaked, and usually you're going to see your oak on almost any red. I'd say about probably 90% of red wine products see oak aging, and it's usually done with barrel, but there's also other ways you can do it. There's some mass production places will throw bags of oak chips in. It all really depends on the kind of flavor they want to impart on the wine. And there's also oak staves. Some places will just take make a stainless steel tank into a makeshift barrel by putting a whole bunch of oak staves all the way around it, and that will allow for extraction of oak flavor that way. There's a couple of different things as well. As I just mentioned, oak, depending on the way they want the flavor profile to be seen, can be a couple of different things, and depending on what kind of flavor you want, you may pick a different actual region of the world. There's different types of oak. French oak does a little bit more of the kind of subtle, softer flavors. And American oak, playing up on the stereotype, goes for the big, bold, punch-in-your-mouth kind of flavors. And a lot of places have actually, in Niagara, at least at the moment, have been experimenting with Hungarian and Canadian oak as well, and getting some very, very interesting flavor profiles out of it. The other thing that really impacts it is the level of toasting that you see in barrels. There's, you go on any whiskey tour, they'll talk about how the varying degrees of toasting of the inside of the barrel can just change the beverage entirely. And toasting being, as they build the barrel, they'll actually put it over top of a fire and they'll char the inside of the wood. So that way that actual breakdown allows for seepage and the porous nature of the wood to actually pick up and release the beverage, being wine, whiskey, other spirits, whatever, that's being put into these barrels. Now, with that, a heavier toast will have richer and darker flavors. So you're going to see something like, if it was a medium toast of a American oak barrel, let's say, and you put your Chardonnay in there, you're going to get probably something like a nice light vanilla flavor. If that were to be a heavy toasted barrel, you're going to get things that are almost like a smoky vanilla spice. Like if you cured something with vanilla, you'll get something a little bit more like that. So if you're going to be looking after those kinds of things, you got to really, really pay attention to what you want to do. And if you're going to look at the flavor profile for your wine, or the type of wine, you're going to have to know that if they wanted those big little bit of like those hard vanilla flavors, and then maybe a nice like caramel after effect finish. That's the word I was looking for. A nice caramel finish at the end. They're probably doing a combination of French and American oak, and you're not seeing it in, say, a barrel made from both types of wood. You're seeing it from, they did, say, 3 of the 6 barrels they aged this one particular wine in are American oak, and then the other 3 are French. And then they bring those wines back together after the aging process is finished into a stainless steel tank to let the variation settle out. That way you're not getting a bottle that tastes like, of one wine, that tastes like vanilla, and then you're getting that exact same wine, but that now vanilla flavor that you were expecting is a very, very light caramel. And instead you've got both of them together in every one of your bottles, as opposed to half and half, and just being like, oh, what do I got this week? What do I got this week? It's going to be a crapshoot. No. people have obviously taken the time to make sure that that doesn't happen. The other thing that oak aging can kind of bring to the table is you're going to see a little bit of actual tannin be brought out, because phenolics, the thing that make tannin and the thing that makes that astringent character, actually is also present in oak and actually gets brought out into, say, a Chardonnay. So a wine that you were expecting to have no tannin does have a little bit of that mouth-drying character, and for people who are sensitive to that, it seems smoky sometimes, and it might seem too much. That's just something to be aware of if you're wary of those types of things. Let's see. If I want to keep talking about oak, I should probably stop there. Oh, Thanksgiving's coming up. Canadian Thanksgiving, the real one. Kind of an idea, just a little bit of an afterthought before I, instead of finishing the talk on oak now and doing it next week, this week, if you want to get a wine that is perfect for Thanksgiving, I always recommend barrel fermented Chardonnays, but don't get Californian ones. Do not. Do not. Californian ones will be too much. They will actually mask some of the dinner. You want to have a nice kind of addition to the meal, and I will recommend probably either French or Canadian or northern states. Like if you're going up the West Coast and you say, okay, Washington State's a little cooler, it won't be as much of a warm climate Chardonnay, that would be one of the ones I'd go for if you cold set on buying American. I would not do Australian either. Too warm. I personally, too warm for Chardonnay. Might be able to pull off a New Zealand. Might be able to pull one of those out. But barrel fermented Canadian, definitely a winner. And some Burgundy whites I can easily go for with Thanksgiving dinner. So that's just kind of my little turkey talk to add into the oak spiel that I had for today and this week. And I hope you enjoy the rest of whatever is going to be coming up later. I should really pre-write these instead of just rambling, but we'll see how it goes. It's informal. That's part of the thing with this. The Wine IV is an informal vlog. We do not write beforehand. We just talk until we get the point out there. And hopefully that doesn't deter anybody. Cheers and have a good week.